Oh, hello there. I thought I'd make sure you got an opportunity to participate in my first bar rip of the day. So, there you had it. Today is Friday, PE close, go home. But besides that, I've got some pretty exciting news. So, Bunhugger Magazine, yes, that Bunhugger Magazine, has decided to make me the centerfold of their 2024 calendar for all 12 months. All 12 months are going to feature me posing in my bun huggers. Some of them I might have a shirt on. Usually, probably, yeah, I'll have a shirt on because I'm a little modest like that. Hi, show media. Right now, we're talking about the big news, my big break, maybe, and finally into show business. Bun Hugger Magazine has selected me as their #1 bun hugger model for all of 2024. I was as surprised as anybody, to be honest, Then I double checked. Hold on a second. Are bun huggers part of my PE clothes? Because if so, they're going to have to go home today. Turned out, no. A jock strap is part of my PE clothes. But I don't even have any jock straps. Why? Well, but I'm not engaged in very many activities where someone might knee me in the nuts. I mean, besides just walking out the street, of course, people are always running up to me and kicking me in the nuts every time I walk down the street. Well, that's fair. That's what I get for walking. Well, what other news today do we have? Well, today might be a very vivacious Friday, which is to say, I had my doctor's appointment yesterday. The doctor called in my prescriptions to the Pioneer Market Pharmacy. So we just have to go there today, see if they have it. And if they don't have it, which is reasonably likely they're not going to have it in stock, then I'll ask them if they're going to order it, if they, if they want to be my pharmacy, basically. And I'll try to find some place that either has it on hand or tells me, yeah, we will order it, we will get it, you will be on it. Well, obviously, I'm most looking forward to it by Vyvanse. It's the only prescription I'm looking forward to. the other prescription I'm going to get now, I'm going to get gabapentin too. Because it helps with neuropathy, which I have on the bottom of my feet. That's not really why I take it, though. I take it because it helps me go to sleep. We are a week out from the Johnny Show, which is perfect timing, because even if, we could have gone into town yesterday and tried to get it yesterday, but I'm not in that much of a hurry, right? Because the only thing I know for sure is I wanted to have it before we go to the Johnny Show. Because it's going to be a long day, It's going to be, we got to drive to San Luis Obispo, which is a good 4 hours. Maybe even 4.5. I don't know. And then we got to check into the hotel. And then we can rest for a bit. But then it's time to get ready for the Johnny Show. Oh, we're going to be like those ladies who see the Beatles just screaming until we faint. No, that's not okay. Johnny can do a lot of things, but he can't do that. I wanna sit on your girlfriend's face, and that's okay. Wide-eyed, tongue-tied, 3-4. Ooh-hoo-hoo. It's a good call there, show media. In fact, excellent call. Excellent enough for you to get one wonder point. That's right. That's for you, show media. One wonder point. Johnny cannot do that. I may get all wet in my panties over Johnny, but Rachel's not allowed to. We're both just absolutely fanatics for his music, but that doesn't mean like I'm some idiot who would let a celebrity do whatever. Hell no. And if he tries to lay a finger on Rachel, they're not going to get anywhere with me. That's for sure. What did I do with it? Oh, it's right here. I'll go do that. I made a new short, Tiffany short, in which she offers her thoughts on Joe Jonas, which are as follows. First of all, Joe Jonas needs to suck my butt. Why? Because first of all, Joe Jonas is a barber. And second of all, he stinks. Ultimate Wonder Points rewards. There will be a Wonder Point rewards program implemented at some point. For example, if you cash in your Wonder Points, you may be able to leave a live stream early. Otherwise, you'll be required to stay for the whole thing. Some advantages like that. Maybe you get to go off campus for lunch. Maybe you'll get to leave your PE clothes at home on Friday. That's possible. We haven't worked out all the details of the Wonder Point redemption program yet. But I can assure you, there will be fabulous prizes. Typology Celebrity Game Show. I'm feeling myself beginning to return to some overarching state of awesome. What does that mean? Well, I think how many Mindy's Club shorts I make is a good test or tell of how much I'm running on all cylinders. If I'm running on all cylinders, what that means is I like making jokes and music. Jokes and music and music and jokes. Seems like ever since a little before my dad died, it wasn't his death that initiated my move away from Good Times Eric, right? That's like the last couple of months before he died, and things got really just difficult, awful. But it feels like a year plus since I've been not really making much music and or jokes. I haven't made anything new musically, you know. And I've been making some good jokes, you know, as always. I periodically make up a good joke, you know. Like, what do you call Helen Keller juggling 6 dead babies? Impressive. That's a joke I made up around before the wedding. If there's really a Surgeon General, then why isn't there a level in specific? Another joke I made up recently. So I make up jokes periodically, but I'm not really in full blast joke making mode. But I feel like I'm getting back into it. It's like sometimes you gotta let things lie fallow for a while. That's definitely the case with Mindy's Club, but I feel like she's back. I think she might introduce also a another new product by Massengill called Christmas Morn by Massengill. If you want your puss to smell like fireworks and barbecue, try Summer's Eve by Massengill. But if you want your puss to smell like Christmas trees and disappointment, well, try Christmas Morn by Massengill. I want my puss to smell like pie tars and eggnog. You can just leave out the eggnog, just whiskey is pie. Mom, do you ever feel not so fresh? No, sweetie. My puss always smells like a Christmas morn. I'm a 3-time sneezer. Yes, I am. 2 times just didn't do it, man. And God bless you too, show media. God bless us, everyone. If you have, for those 3 people who are here, if you have not seen, that was my wonderful, lovely, delightful daughter. Telling me that we can successfully treat Rachel's neuropathy with having her take B12 all the time. So, and mine too. She read some article about it. For somebody else who got neuropathy even way worse than Rachel, was in a wheelchair, couldn't walk from huffing whippets. And they successfully, completely cured her by having her take a shit ton of B12. In the hospital, they gave her injections of B12. So, we probably should have done that a long time ago. But we didn't. Because we're stupid. They are stupid. A horrible person. It'd be nice if we could cure that problem. Meow. Like, the other thing is, I don't think Rachel is a very accurate about her own degree of limitation, you know? Like, she's worried about, okay, God, sorry, we have to watch the cat eat. You are such a meowing pants. You know that? You're so full of meows. So very full of meows. So, okay. I'm going to order a bunch of B12. And we're going to try to massively dose Rachel with it on multiple occasions. And see what happens. So, that's a good idea. Of course, I'm not entirely sure how well Rachel will be able to self-report regarding any gradual improvement she might be making. But she is able to self-report regarding the gabapentin working. So that bodes well. Are you happy now? Yes, you're a very handsome man. And I don't want you to feel bad that you didn't get to be the model, but I'm the one who won the contest. I'm going to be the centerfold for Bun Huggers Magazine 2024 calendar. Every month will be a picture of me posing in Bun Huggers. I know you wanted it. I know you wanted it even more than I wanted it, but I got it because I just have the buns that get it dones. Okay? That's why they chose me to be the centerfold and not you. Even though I would agree you're a much more handsome man. Your buns just aren't as good as mine. Okay. Now that we've done our duty of cat watching, because you heard the meows, I think you know as well as I do that we didn't really have any choice but to watch the cat eat. You know what? Instead of going and getting my bong, I'm going to use Rachel's bong. It's easier. Now let me open up the chat on the old computer Dora. My short yesterday, Kitty at a Circle, got 2,000 views. That's pretty good. For those who didn't remember, today is Friday, so PE clothes go home. Eric, I want a song. And I was after. What about a teacher role? Because at least the other side of a microphone. Am I correct in assuming that INFJ as a school teacher is among the most poorly equipped? Well, no. Here's where you're wrong, is assuming that the skills the skills are more about managing education than about managing people. I think INFJs are a little bit better at managing the classroom by nature. They do a better job of controlling the group's dynamic. My mom was an ISFJ though. She was an excellent teacher. And I mean, INFJs have SI to fall back on too, eventually, right? They just don't do it consciously. It just continues to inform their intuition more and more the more they experience, so their intuition is more correct the longer they're around. Because they're intuiting about similar things with similar dynamics, you know? But your mom's face is a terrible teacher. However, your mom's face is a great learner. So you have that to be proud of. Which types won't express their feelings because they are not sure they will remain the same after they think about it a bit later and they don't want to mislead people? Well, she might be SI polar, New Groove. I don't know about that question, Show Media. It's funny, when I first read it, I thought I read it as will. I guess I sort of processed it holistically first. Question seems to make more sense if you have the word will in there instead of won't, right? Which type will express their feelings because they aren't sure if they'll remain the same after they think about it a bit later? If you just left that question, I would say, well, it's kind of like all FI types, I guess. But what you're saying there, I don't know what that is. Who else does half a bag of Oreos for breakfast? Delish. If you have coffee, that does sound delicious. If it's just Oreos without coffee, it sounds like your mouth's going to get a little bit Oreo-ish after a while. Probably want something to wash it down too, or else your teeth will be all black. I mean, it's better than not having teeth like me, but well, that sounds kind of INFJ-ish. Like, I'm not going to express my feelings because I don't want them to mislead people and I don't trust them, but I'm relatively conscious of them. That sounds like sixth slot FI. Me, I express my feelings all the time. But when the doctor asked me yesterday if I was. The question just makes me laugh because it seems so silly. He asked me, like, explaining, he was asking me about anxiety and stuff, and I was just saying, like, no, I don't have anxiety. I get stressed out, but when I procrastinate about shit and put it off, and I said how I was putting off dealing with scheduling my parents' funeral in Missouri. I need to get on that, you know. And he said, "You think you're putting it off to avoid the emotional pain?" And I just literally laughed out loud. No. I'm putting it off because I keep putting it off. I know I have to do it, and it just gets worse and worse because the longer I put it off, the more I have to do it, you know? And he said, oh, and I explained about my aunt, and he's like, oh, you feel guilty. Yeah, I said, yes, and guilt plus inaction equals self-loathing. It's great talking to him. He's definitely an INTP. I know because we do this thing that NTPs do with each other. He'll say something onto it where he's going with it. I'll like be like, yeah, yeah, I got it, like, yeah. And he's like, yeah. And then it's clear that we both understand each other without having to say the whole thing. That happens when two NTPs talk to each other a lot. Tell them you're putting it off till the weather cools down and the flies go away. Anyone who's been in Missouri knows about the flies. Well, I am, but we have to see. I mean, it's September, for instance, Mom. I need to schedule it for a time when we can potentially do this. Someone else asked this before, but what is it when you recognize when you're having an emotion? You'll then zoom and out and recognize what's happening to you, and it pulls you out. That's never happened to me. I have no idea. I remember having those kind of out of body experiences when reciting memorized speeches, okay? That happened to me every time I did original oratory. I wrote this speech about censorship when I was like in 10th grade or ninth grade or something. Censorship is bad. And when I do the speech in competition, it made me feel like I was having an out of body experience too. Because I'm naturally designed to recite things not at all, to just explain it like I always do without any notes or any reading of things or memorizing things. The act of reciting something memorized gave me like out of body experiences. I've never had any sort of experience like what you're describing with FI, but let's say that's the same experience but with a different cognitive function. Well, in that case, it would seem to suggest that would correlate with fourth slot, conscious but weak. Because, I mean, or wouldn't suggest it. If you wanted to generalize from my example, you'd say, well, since Eric does that about SI, then I guess somebody with FI fourth might do that as well. If there's a rule there that generalizes like that, there might not be. So I don't know. I also wanted to mention to new group regarding the Oreos. I haven't been eating Oreos for breakfast, but I have been eating Starburst jelly beans. So that's not too bad. You know. All right. Back to the garage we go, except the difference this time is that this time I'll have cigarettes with me. And won't that be a lark? That'll be a lark for us all. If you enjoy things like going on a lark, then you'll enjoy this. You'll enjoy this as sure as the Pope shits in the woods. A nun, a priest, and a rabbi crossed this road to watch the Pope shit in the woods. The priest says, a bear. The nun says, to get to the other side. And the rabbi says, oy vey. Why is Mr. gonna sit in the woods? That's a pretty good joke. Okay, let's repeat this joke from the start. A priest, a nun, and a rabbi crossed the road to watch the Pope shit in the woods. The priest says, a bear. The nun says, to get to the other side. And the rabbi says, oy vey, why is Monsieur gonna shit in the woods? So, one way to manufacture new jokes is to take an old joke and try to combine them. Like, that's how my, what do you call Helen Keller juggling 6 dead babies? Impressive. That joke stems from combining a dead baby's joke with a Helen Keller joke. The previous joke I made came from combining a bear shit in the woods joke with a walk into a bar joke with a chicken cross the roads joke. So that's a triple combo. It's a triple threat. It can sing, it can dance, it can act. Rachel and I were having an interesting conversation the other day about how Michael Scott in The Office is written essentially as an FE Dom with incredibly shitty FE. It's definitely an absolute value, it's top absolute value, seems like, but it's terrible. So, then she was like, well, give me examples of how you could write a character who was, yeah. And I was like, well, I guess, I don't remember what I said for NI Dom, but an NI Dom would be somebody who's got very active or who's always using NI, but using it badly. Like, there's some rather complicated explanation and they go, so you're saying it's the banana when, or in Dumb and Dumber when he goes, so you're saying I have a chance. Like, if you were the absolute last man on earth and I was really, really desperate, maybe, and he goes, so you're saying I've got a chance. That's terrible NI from the available data, right? And an example of an any DOM, well, I mean, it would require multiple instances for them to be called that, but, an any DOM with terrible NE. 2 characters, 3 people are stuck on an island. They can see the land in the distance, but it's very far away, too far to swim. One character says, "Oh my God, we're gonna either have to build a boat," and the other character is like, "Yeah, we'll see one passing flight down, one of the two." And the third guy is like, "Hold on a second, maybe we should make a hot air balloon." That might work. I mean, example, somebody if they do that all the time, they're being written as in any. I don't think that instance was. I think that was Jim Carrey sticking to the script. That part was clearly written, you know. So you can imagine that being a comedic approach. Somebody who behaves as though a given function is at top absolute value, apparently using it all the time, but using it badly. Other shows, they'll write their characters much more like, you know, examples of a type. The show I come back to is that most writes type correct characters is Bob's Burgers. The dad's a textbook ISTJ. The mom's a textbook ESFJ. The Tina, the older daughter, is classic INFP. Um, the son is an ESFP. The younger daughter with the bunny ears, she's an ENTP. And they're all really well written, like consistently their type characters. You know, you know that the mom in Bob's Burgers, there's a guy who plays the voice of the mom. He's a guy who got that job by way of this one, I guess it was a Vine that went viral of him pretending to be like a Long Island ESFJ talking about a tree. Oh my God, the tree! You've got to look at the tree! Oh my God. I don't know if you've ever seen it or not. But if you type in like Long Island mom looks at tree or something like Christmas tree, then it'll probably pop up somewhere. Anyway, the voice that guy does in that one viral video is the mom in Bob's Burgers. That's her voice, and he does it. Oh, there you go. Winston's mom got the info as usual. You're getting a wonder point for that, Winston's mom. I don't give you enough wonder points for just having the info all the time, you know. Before John Roberts, not the Supreme Court Justice, keep that in mind, landed the role of Linda Belcher, he starred in a series of viral videos in which he imitated his mom dressed in a frizzy red wig and her clothing. Linda Belcher is basically John Roberts' mom, huh? Mm-hmm. I got more cock yesterday, post date. He actually came up briefly, not by name or anything, but in my doctor's appointment yesterday. Yeah, I was telling him about how a long time ago I used to meow a lot. And I haven't really meowed since that much except for this one time that I was in Kansas and I meowed and it was great. And he asked, well, like, why were you in Kansas? I explained, well, I was doing a little trip around the country. to visit people. Isn't that cool that I did that? I think that's a nice bit of SI. That's SI hitting me right in the thyroid gland. Just wherever it is, around here somewhere. That's some good SI. It was there that I experienced something really, truly wonderful for the first time. Something that rhymes with snot snails. That was a truly, truly wonderful moment. Don't say that, Winston's mom. That's so effy. Yeah. That's shitty effy. Okay. Close enough, Winston's mom. Close enough. It was a day where my eyes were truly opened. Like this. What? You can do that? I want to do that. Well, in addition to cock, I got some epoxy. Loctite epoxy. General purpose. Why did you get this epoxy, Eric? Well, because I did such a comically shitty job of installing the cat door the first time. I have to redo it. I'm embarrassed to show everybody what a comically shitty job I did of the installing of the cat door the first time. But I will show it. I have to because this door is metal. Y'all watching? I got some metal screws and screws in the door. It's too late for that now, okay? As you see, it's gradually flipping down. And even if it weren't, it looked so terrible that I just can't look at it anymore. I just gonna have to redo it. I'm not buying a whole new door, goddammit. I just need to do it properly and it'll be fine. So anyway, I'm going into town today. There's a possibility I could come back to the house from town with a bottle of Vyvanse in hand. And if that were the case, well, happy days are here again. No time for blueness now, my friend. No, Fluestate, I have not considered welding it. I don't have any welding things, and I don't want to get any welding things. Okay? What I want to do is prevent injury. The thing is, I own a badass chainsaw. A Husqvarna. Cameron got me a good deal on it refurbished. And guess what? I have not even taken it out of the box. Oh my God. Winston's mom, you just got yourself an additional wonder point because you know who's going to be super excited about that. I mean, I'm fairly excited about it too, but Rachel fucking loves karaoke. She loves it like nothing else. So I'm sure that is exactly what we will be doing tonight. we thought about potentially they have square dancing lessons at the old Red Barn. Um, we considered maybe doing that even, but that's also this evening. But I know what Rachel would prefer over. I don't want to do that. Plus, I haven't even taken my chainsaw out of the box. Why? Because I'm scared of it. You know how when I was single, you called me puss shy? Well, that was a fair and accurate description of me. But what I permanently is power tool shy. I'm not that good with stuff, right? I'm the kind of guy who could easily injure himself by doing something dumb. You saw me operating a handgun. So, you know, I have taken out my rifle a couple times to go shooting, though, by the way, now that I'm in a sane part of California. I live just right by where you can shoot guns, so you just drive out to the forest anytime and shoot guns. I mean, I only have one gun, but it's a rifle. It's a 22 rifle. It's a bolt action. It does have a clip, but I'm not sure how to use that. I mean, I know how to put it in. I'm not sure if you just pull the trigger or I've been a little hesitant to find out what happens. So I just use the bolt action and put it in one bullet at a time. That way, I always know if there's a bullet in there or not. Yeah, well, things like power tools and guns, where you have to attain impacts the right way, or else you will attain the wrong impacts. Well, SE is the master of impacts. So, if you want to watch pure comedy, hand and keep an EMT on hand, please. Hand an INTP a power tool they've never used before. I remember this INTP in Colorado on my visit. I gave him my Dremel tool. He like immediately broke the one part and lost another part. It's just okay. Give that back to me. You are not able to use this. I remember when Susie visited me in Laverne. She was riding Kimberly's bike, which had kind of a bent front wheel, and she was just like, oh, my Norwegian self is having so much trouble with this. when she was when she was like when we went fishing, she was swinging this thing around. And I was just like, this is disaster. And she like let it go and went flying at somebody. And we're all like, hey, oh sorry, I let it go. Or the time I went to the subway and there was like a new employee there who was clearly an INTP and didn't even know how to like push down a piece of bread on top of a sandwich the right amount of strength. He was just like, oh. That's SE Polar for you. They gotta learn how to do everything. They can't just, they have no SE to naturally do things in a sensible fashion. Well, I'm not push shy anymore because I'm married now. When your son worked at Pizza Hut, he complained he was not good with the toppings. Oh my goodness, that's ridiculous. Well, I mean, again, it depends what you're doing, right? If what you're doing is analyzing some legal document, then ESTPs will be good at ignoring physical surrounding conditions while they do that, right? Whereas INTPs will be annoyed by the coldness and want to go inside. And they'll both be equally good at parsing out the legal document. I mean, he was like probably 18, classic kind of INTP, neurotic kind of look about him. And he just obviously had never made his own sandwiches before and was learning how to make sandwiches for the first time. You know, it happens, right? His just clumsiness and like hesitancy with every step of the whole thing was just ridiculous. Oh, I don't put. You have a job where I handle tools sometimes, and I can feel when I've over tightened the nut with a wrench. Also, you can hear it. If I know I over tightened it, I will not learn to not do it again. Chainsaw's more scared of me than I am of it. Well, the thing is, I actually have a need to use the chainsaw, which is, I have a couple needs to use the chainsaw. But the easiest job I need to do with the chainsaw is see this little wilderness car here, right? Well, there are these wilderness roads for you to drive your wilderness car around here. And one of them, it keeps having this. It's had one tree fall down across it. It's like not that far from my house. You can't go very far down that road. And then somebody removed that one, and then another tree fell across it, which is currently blocking the road. I could go out there with my chainsaw and cut a wilderness car sized hole in the middle of that tree, and then chop up that piece of log into small pieces and just throw them out of the way. And then I could drive down that road again. Isn't it cute? It's an adorable little wilderness car. I love it so much. My video in which I showed this like ridiculously colored, pimped out little wilderness car at the fair. They had a little wilderness car display at the fair, and the display was put on by the same company that sold us this. The guy who I think either owns or manages this company called like Barton Farm Car Things, something like that. That's the company that put on the show at the fair. But anyway, The guy who runs that business, he's the one who sold us this house and this little wilderness car. And so obviously he picked out this little wilderness car. It's in the garage. It was their little wilderness car. And it's the Mule Pro FXT Ranch Edition. It's pretty sweet, let me tell you. It can go over all kinds of crazy shit, and the shocks on it are so good. It's like smoother than driving a car on the road. It's crazy. It does get all dusty. I have a power washer that I could use in theory to clean it off. That I should use in practice to clean it off. But I'm Eric, so those things get put off some distance. A lot of things get put off until I get a bottle of amphetamines. That's a regular occurrence. Yeah, that got like 10,000 views. Here you go, wilderness friends. There's some cutlets for my woodland friends. Eat 'em up with your little mouth. Yeah, here's some cutlets for you. Okay, I'm back. And I'm ready to make love to your ears with my voice. Shh, it's okay. Just lie back and enjoy. The sounds of Eric. Do you hear my voice right here? It's a blue jay cawking near. You totally missed your cue, blue jay. You're supposed to caw, caw, caw again. You know, like that song. And it's too late now. Like that song, caw, caw, caw goes the trolley. And sometimes I feel like being whiskey. Most of the time I feel like being dry. But, where's how this song go? And I hope that I get old before I die. It's a long, long place to take you to my home. And I wonder why this has to happen. Why? Think of all the dirt that I'll be wearing for a shirt. And I hope that I get old before I die. That's a They Might Be Giants song. It's a good one. They got a lot of good songs. One They Might Be Giants song that I enjoy singing just a cappella, which is usually a good sign as to whether something's a good song or not, is this one. I met someone at the dog show. She was holding my left arm, but everyone was acting normal, so I tried to look nonchalant. We both said, I really love you. The Shriners loaned us cars. We raced up and down the sidewalk 20,000 million times. Why did they send her over anyone else? How should I react? These things happen to other people. They don't happen at all. In fact, when you're following an angel, doesn't mean you have to throw your body off a building. If they're calling you a pinhead, calling you an angel, calling you the nicest things. I heard they had a space program. If you sit and you can't hear, there's no air. Sometimes I think I'm kind of like that, and other times I think I'm already there. That's the first verse and chorus, all the way through the first chorus. That's a good song. It's got a good melody. For some reason, I remember all the words. It's a song I listened to a lot in high school. I didn't remember the words and stuff for songs I listened to in high school. Like, I was shocked when Rachel and I listened to Radio by Elvis Costello, and it was the first time I'd heard the song in at least 20 years, maybe 30, you know? I could remember every word of it. I was sitting on it. Now I can't remember it. Doing everything my radio advised. I was seriously thinking about changing the receiver when the switch broke because it's old. They're saying things that I can hardly believe. They really think we're getting out of control. Radio, it's a sad salvation. Radio is sweeping across the nation. Then they say they better listen to the voice of reason. But they don't give us any choice because they think that it's treason. And you had better do what you were told. You better listen to the radio. Some of my friends sit around every evening and they worry about the times ahead. But everybody else is overwhelmed by indifference and the promise of an early bed. You either shut up or get cut up. They don't want to hear about it. It's only inches on the real. And radio is in the hands of such a lot of fools trying to anesthetize the way that you feel. Radio, it's a sad salvation. I remember all the words of that song. I hadn't heard it in 20 plus years, 30 years maybe. That's how SI works with long-term memory, and shit you imprint when you're young really sticks with you. That's why childhood trauma is such a terrible thing. Childhood abuse is the worst thing imaginable. It destroys not just the child's life, but lots of other people's lives around him as well, him or her, Because those people tend to end up like that Britney Spears song, Toxic. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Bum, 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 bum. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. And the taste of your dirt on my Dutch. You're toxic, I'm slipping under. Meow, 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 meow. It's a good song, Toxic. It's well produced. I tell you what else is incredibly well produced for the time and would be a hit if it were released today. That Rachel and I listened to in the car the other day is Sweet Dreams by the Eurythmics. That's really well produced. It sounds like it could have been produced last year, And it's iconic. Like everybody knows the song. You can't help. Everybody could sing it immediately. If it had never existed and was released today, it would still be a hit. I'm 52 years old. And my high school year was correct when they voted me person most likely to act their age. You only have 30,000 days in life. I've almost used up 2/3 of them. Well, this is going to be the best third yet. How old are you is an interesting question to ask. Here's something I find very interesting. Rachel didn't ask me this question until within the last year. You know, closing it on maybe a year ago. She she asked me, "How tall am I?" And I'm like, "I don't know. How tall are you?" And she's like, "I'm 5'2". I'm like, "Oh, you know, good for you." It never occurred to me to ask how tall you were. And she liked that fact that I had never even thought to ask her about how tall she was. But, you know, to me, she was just another shoddy. You know, just like, what difference can I tell between 5'2" and 5'4" and 5'5", you know? Just people shorter than me. Like almost everybody. Almost everybody shorter than me. I don't really think about height very much. I only think about it when there's somebody who's as tall or taller than me, in which case I'm annoyed by that. And it's like, you're supposed to be down there. Oh, no, don't go to sleep yet. TV and computer. Okay, there we go. 30,000 days. That's how long the average person has in a life. So it makes me want to play my song that I wrote based on that piece of information, which is called, you guessed it, 30,000 Days. It's not a song I've played in a while. It's kind of hard to play. We're going to play it anyway right now. It'll help remind me to take advantage of my days. Since I don't even have 11,000 of them left, I plan to beat 30,000. I'm aiming for 60,000. If I can get 60,000, then I'm only 1/3 of the way done. So that's better. I like that better. 30,000 days, too many expectations, not even worth a damn. 30,000 nights to sleep off the intoxication, otherwise you won't escape the plan. I wasted half my days trying another's ways. Who can tell me my priorities? Is there anybody knows the key? I'm tired of doing it wrong. Want direction and have all along. Wait until I know, or is that just hesitation? Get a grade, no good once your chance is gone. What I need to show is it so below my station. I'm tired of doing it wrong. I've wasted half my days trying another's ways. Who can tell me my priorities? Is there anybody knows the key? 'Cause I think I'm doing it wrong. Yeah, I think I'm doing it wrong. Doing it wrong. Don't you mean wrongly? No, I don't mean wrongly. Okay? I don't mean that. I mean wrong. All right. Thank you. Too much noise in the data stream. Loud enough to disrupt everybody's dreams. The frustrations mean mistakes are made until it seems everybody's just throwing shade. I won't be another casualty of other people's well-intentioned rules. I used to think that some tomorrow there'd be time for yesterday. It's not the sort of thing that one can borrow. No one will feel to end that day. Your uncertainty's implicit, just like an unexpected visit from a bunch of men all dressed in pursuits. I won't be another casualty of other people's well-intentioned rules. I used to think that some tomorrow there'd be time for yesterday. Well, I fucked that up. Such is life. full of fuck-ups and failures. Eric's bucket of fuck-ups and failures. That's what I should have called this channel. Eric's big bucket of fuck-ups and failures. That would have been a more accurate title for this channel. Much more so than talking with famous people. Yes, it's a semi-hollow body. You are correct. It may have been Camelot for Jack and Jacqueline on the Che Guevara highway, filling up with gasoline. Fidel Castro's brother spars a rich lady who's trying over luxury's disappointments, so he walks over and he's trying to sympathize with her. But he thinks that he should warn her that the third world is just around the corner. In the Soviet Union, a scientist is blinded by the resumption of nuclear testing, and he is reminded that Dr. Robert Oppenheimer's optimism fell. The first hurdle. In the cheese pavilion, and the only sound I hear is the sound of someone stacking chairs and mopping up spilled beer, and someone asking questions and basking in the light of the 15 pain-filled minutes with the fanzine writer. One step forward, two steps back, if politics give me the rack, waiting for the great leap forwards. That song is called Great Leap Forwards, and it's by Billy Bragg. Let's call me bullshit is what it is. But nevertheless, a great song. Billy Bragg, a great example of an ENFP who wants to get outside of their lane. Just stick to your love songs, Billy Bragg. When you write great songs that are also full of commie bullshit, you're not really doing anybody a good service. That's a great song, but your political ideologies are complete garbage. I learned that song such a long time ago. When I was learning the guitar, it's one of the early songs I learned how to play. It's kind of tiring on the hands. Even with this guitar, it's tiring. Not an easy song to play. What? Are you drinking beer first thing in the morning? It looks like we got a phone company. So what do you think about that? Good morning.
Did they hang equipment on your house yet? Fiber optic equipment?
Yeah, it's right around the side.
They did it already, or?
I think so.
Well, they buried it, or did they hang it?
I believe they hung it as well.
Oh, they did. Okay.
And we're looking forward to purchasing the highest level of fiber optic.
Yeah, they should be. If you got it on there, they should be calling you soon to get it hooked up.
All right, cool.
Yeah, you're ready to go pretty much.
All right, great.
I don't know if we're still waiting on some splicing or what, but it should be real around the corner here pretty soon.
Are they burying the phone cables in the road or just
Are you talking about out here?
yeah?
That's PG&E.
So they're just burying the electric cables.
They're burying conduit right now, and then they'll push their power lines in later.
Okay, are we still gonna have above ground phone lines?
No,
We,
that's what they're doing. They're supposed to, and I don't know for sure, but I heard they're supposed to do all like not just up to Jersey Dale. They're supposed to do all the Jersey Dale as well. So
like,
but I'm not
like even back there in the dirt road area.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not. I don't have too much knowledge on it, but
They're trying to avoid wildfire like liability, right?
Yeah, that's why they're gonna bury it.
And so, are there any current above ground phone lines?
There's only a couple spots on the end that have aerial phone line.
Okay.
Everything else, all our other stuff's buried.
So basically,
Like
once they're done with this, they're gonna take this stuff down.
They are going to bury to that meter, pretty much. That's where they end. So they'll bury right up to that meter, and they'll probably take out the phone.
And then we won't have to look at these wires anymore.
That's the plan.
That's fantastic.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right. Well, thanks, Sierra Tel.
We'll see.
We love Sierra Tel.
Well, your fastest speeds are coming soon, hopefully.
Fantastic. Thank you. Sierra Tel is fantastic. And there's a green electrical box right there you pointed to. So we're at the very last house that gets to have underground wires. Because that's the last one of those things, I guess. Well, that's cool. That's good information. This is a wonderful time to move in here when they're just doing all these improvements and stuff, you know. It's going to be a better place than it was before we moved in, within a year or two of when we moved in, you know. And we're going to have fast internet. It's going to go like, pow! That's how fast it's going to be. Everyone's going to be blown away by the fastness of the internet. What's my least favorite food? Oh yeah, I remember dial-up. Least favorite food. Well, any kind of fish I don't like. I don't like fish. I don't like. There are a couple of exceptions. Sushi's fine. I mean, it's not something I choose usually. Even that's fine if it's good. It was good kind of like tuna or something, you know. But generally, I don't like salmon at all. No matter what, I don't like salmon. But I don't hate it, you know. So you wouldn't call it fish my least favorite food. Sometimes I'll get fish and chips. Every place that does fish and chips well with Atlantic cod, you know. But I always feel bad eating animals that they catch in the wild. It's like we grow certain animals to eat. Pigs, cows, chickens. Just let's stick to eating those. We don't need to eat fish that are caught in the ocean. You can farm tilapia, but you don't have to want to eat fish. I don't know why we would want to eat fish. They still need to get some occasional lobsters for Rachel. She likes to eat lobster. Here's a little hot Blue Jay action for you. A little hot Blue Jay action will put you in the mood. Hey, baby. Want to look at some Blue Jays over there? Oh, Dan. I know what that means. Yeah. I know how hot it gets you. Looking at seeing watching them fly around. Oh, stop, Dan. You're moistening my undergarments. That's a really prim lady who's gonna put it like that. Stop, Dan, before I moisten my undergarments. Basically, what I'm doing right now is I'm killing time until I can reasonably wake up Rachel to go to town with me. I want her to go to town with me because of FE reasons. First time at the pharmacy. So we'll see how that goes. It's possible that I could get my Vyvanse today, but I'm guessing probably not. Because Vyvanse just went generic, and I'm hopeful to get the generic. Now, let's say they don't have the generic today, but they do have the name brand today. Well, then it's going to depend on how many days I'll have to wait for the generic. It's possible they have neither the generic nor the name brand, and it's plausible that they're not cooperative in the ordering thing and basically indicate to me that they don't want to deal with this. In which case, I will go to Rite Aid and see what they say. My point is, regardless of whatever the pharmacy wants, I'm not going to be in any kind of fighty mood with anybody. I'm only in a solution-oriented mood, and so I want Rachel to go with me so we look more respectable. I look more respectable with her beside me than just by myself every single time. That's just unavoidable. After all, I'm Eric, and she's Rachel. Blue Jays are very aggressive. Is that the whole joke? You messed with the details. Try it again. He's a blind guy. I was confused at first. Okay, now I got it. You don't have to try it again. Now I got it. No, it's one of those scheduled drugs that I need to be there to get it. Especially this is the first time we're talking with this pharmacy. I'm not worried about it. We're trying. I had to just fix bling the blind. Because bling guy makes sense, you know. It's not like something that, as an expression, I would be okay. I know what you mean. Some guy wearing a lot of bling or whatever. That's why that typo wasn't immediately picked up on me by me. I had to intuit it from the rest of the joke. It's because her thought he was smelling vaginas. That's why I thought there were ladies there. His next line was, "Hello, ladies. Have you ever tried Summer's Eve by Massengill?" No, I should try my new product, Christmas Morn by Massengill. Also, I'm planning on introducing a seasonal douche, Pumpkin Spice by Massengill. Honey, you know what smell I love? I love the smell of pumpkin spice. Pumpkin spice. And then in the commercial, the lady's got a doot light bulb. Goes to the store, Pumpkin Spice by Massengill. All right, honey, tonight you're in for a surprise. She goes home, douches, and then he comes home and he's like, "Do I smell pumpkin spice?" "Yes." "Are you making something in the kitchen?" "No, honey, in the bedroom." And he says, "Nani?" Like that. That's my new commercial for Pumpkin Spice by Massengill. It's a pretty good idea. Then Christmas Morn by Massengill. Columbus Day by Massengill. It smells like ocean-going ships and genocide. What do you guys think? Columbus Day by Massengill? You smell like the Nina, the Penta, the Santa Maria, oh, and genocide. We could do holiday douche for every holiday. For Lincoln's birthday, it'll have the brisk smell of emancipation. Easter, obviously, it'll smell like baked grass and hard-boiled eggs. um, 4th of July smells like fireworks and barbecue. Labor Day smells like sweat and the decay of state finances, blame for which we can lay at the feet of public unions. I'm not sure exactly what scent that is, but I think it's got undertones of sandalwood. Thanksgiving, obviously, you smell like turkey and cranberry sauce. Halloween, you smell like skeletons and spiders. So, ladies, I don't think you're taking full advantage. You know, women love to have different makeups and different shampoos and etc. But why aren't they taking advantage of the opportunity to make their puss smell like a holiday so they can really bring the whole seasonal thing together? Sweat and burning money. Exactly. Jeremiah Fix, that and I earns you a wonder point. Thank you for NIing my problem. Ah, what would the revolution smell like? A lot like Occupy Wall Street. Dumb and not occupied with anything productive. Dumb and unproductive. That's what the revolution smells like. But it tastes a lot like chicken, surprisingly. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm actually starting to feel tired. We still need to go to town. I'm gonna go upstairs, lie down with Rachel, and then hopefully either go to sleep or get us up. One of the two. So goodbye for now. Obviously, if I get Vyvanse today, you will definitely see me again later, probably for like a 7 hour long stream. If I don't, who knows? Talk to y'all later, and don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.